Have to clear my throat before I do this presentation. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, family. Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbie. Before we get into today's episode, if you are new to this podcast, or if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel as of yet, please do so now. And also be sure to tap the notification bell for alerts when we upload a new episode. Please let us know in the comment section below this audio podcast where you're listening to us from. Also, let us know what's happening in your country, in your state, and in your city so that we can discuss it on this platform in real time. We are a global community and we want to keep our listeners informed about what's going on with Black people and African people throughout the United States and throughout the diaspora. I would like for us to grow this platform to 500,000 strong, and also for us to get this film project fully funded and made so that way the proceeds from the film will put me in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, Illinois. So that way we can serve the low income Black community and become an economic base there. Eventually, in God's timing, we will be hosting African tours, Caribbean tours, and South American tours so that we can move beyond cyberspace and make our presence known in the cities and countries around the globe. On this platform, we're more than just talk. We want to put boots on the ground and do what we can to help improve the social conditions for our people who are or for our people that want more out of life and want to become GRCAM members. To learn more about our business opportunities within our Black media component, please purchase my ebook and read my story first. Quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available in two forms. It's available as an ebook for $9.99. And that's what I'm trying to encourage all of my listeners to do. Please become a GRCAM member because at this point in time in the game, I'm only focusing on GRCAM members and I'm going to work with their immediate family members. Those that's not part of us, we'll pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. And those of you that's not interested in solving Black issues or solving African issues, please delete me off your friends list and go on about your business. Because the whole purpose of me creating this platform in the first place is to recruit brave and smart, like-minded Black Americans beyond Chicago, brave and smart African immigrants throughout the United States of America. Because we need to get this business up and running, ladies and gentlemen. And also for the global African family, if you're serious about me bringing my business to the African continent, then please put me on blast, meaning share my information with all of your friends on all social networks you are on, and please purchase my ebook. Download it to your smartphone. So again, it's $9.99. I have the link in the comment section below this audio podcast. So you can go to my Amazon author page and you can get it that way. Download the link to your smartphone if you want to get the ebook, which I'm trying to encourage everybody to do, or purchase the soft cover book and read my story. I only want to hear from those that's in agreement. I don't have time to debate with people that's not going to solve our issues. I'm ready to move this thing to the next level. And also, by you purchasing my book, that's going to help put me in a better position financially so that way I can hire Black people, African people, and others. Ladies and gentlemen. Um, okay, so disclaimer. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is based on public available reports and verified media sources. We fully comply with YouTube's community guidelines. We do not promote violence, hate, or misinformation in any form. This podcast is available in two forms. It's available as audio as well as a written text in order for us to reach our audience where they're at. So, in other words, um, I have articles, which, that's my receipts, because I don't like to just sit up and be just running off at the mouth. I like to back up what I say. So I got sources that you can look at to back up my claims. So I have it as articles. Also have videos. So I just want to, some people that don't like to read, no problem, then just check out the videos. Those that love to read, then just read the articles that I have on my Medium transcript. And once I'm finished with my presentation, I'm going to try to teach you all that's listening, especially if you watching the as a video. I'm going to pull up I'm going to share my screen and walk you through how to navigate on my Medium page. And everything is, in layman terms, so it's not very complicated. So don't worry. Um, so if you are a Black artist or African artist, such as an author, comedian, poet, musician, or entrepreneur, then make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that way you can promote your books, your business, your music, your jokes. And if you have a small ministry, you're welcome to share a 30-minute sermon with my listeners from the global community. After the show, I offer an incentive to my guest speakers by teaching them how to create their own podcast, YouTube channel, and get it monetized, as well as assist them with creating a free Wix website. If they work hard at growing their audience, then they will eventually get sponsors who will help fund either their online business or their online ministry. Now, I am available um, Tuesday, May 19th through Sunday, May 24th, um, Monday, May 25th through Thursday, May 28th from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. American Central Time. On this platform, we keep you informed and empower you wherever from wherever you are throughout the diaspora or on the African continent. Do not just listen to our audio or video podcasts. Join the movement, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I want to do more than just news and social commentary, but again, this is where I'm at. So this is my best. This is the best that I can do right now till I'm able to, generate enough capital to get this business up and running. So I have a business. I just got the business title. Everything is already set to go. But I need brave and smart, like I say, brave and smart Black Americans who identify as DAS FM, that's descendants of American slaves / freedmen, as well as African immigrants from 10 African nations, in order for us to speed up the process and get things done. Because I don't like being stagnant. I sure don't. But again, I can't make Black Americans buy my revised book. Can't make Black Americans purchase items from my virtual store. Can't make Black Americans donate to the film project. Why? Because God gave us free will. And that's fine. That's fine with me. And that's why I'm reaching out to African immigrants as well as the global African family. I want everybody to know my story, and I want to make sure none of my members have to endure this type of foolishness I endured for just trying to build something productive in the um, low income black community. This is so doggone ridiculous. It's straight up, but you all can release me. That means because this is my God given assignment. So I'm trying to be obedient to my creator. I didn't ask for this. He gave it to me, but he didn't tell me who he was going to bring my way to help me build the business and run the business. And again, I want people to have a 2-year degree and above. You know what I'm saying? I have a college degree. I worked hard for that. And I want to make it sure I have brave and smart people that's going to be able to run the business without me constantly being present. Because once we get it popping here in the city of Chicago, I want to turn it over to my advisory board or my resource team so that they can manage the business without me being present. Because I want to bring the business over to the African continent, starting in South Africa. We want to cut down that high unemployment rate of 30% to get it down to at least 15%. But we got to get it popping here first in America for credibility. And again, my business will be membership based. Those that's not a part of us, I'm not gonna even fool with those persons. Um so I am encouraging um people that's, I would say, interested in being on my advisory board. Again, just read my story. That's what this is all about. So I don't have to waste time trying to explain to you what's already in writing. But for the most part, I want, or I'm looking for, black attorneys, African attorneys, investors, black entrepreneurs, black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and philanthropists. Um, Once we get our film project fully funded and made, and the proceeds from the film starts pouring in, then I would be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, Illinois, buy office equipment, hire qualified black middle class professionals, and qualified African immigrants. Um, that's what we want to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm called by my creator, Lord and Savior, Jesus slash Yahshua, to create the best black Christian business within the United States of America. And that would, with the help of GRCAM members, and that would be the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. I encourage everyone in my Christian groups on Facebook, Light of the World Inspirational Group and Christian Spoken Word Network. Please stand up. Don't just be in my groups just to be seen. I need you all to be active, especially those that's in my Christian groups. You know what I'm saying? Um, if you're not able to participate in our, let's say, our monthly virtual conference, which is coming up next Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, so please mark your calendar for May 30th. Um, and the time would be 2 o'clock p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Ladies and gentlemen, um, also encourage people in my secular groups from Gurkai of Africa, Gurkai of Chicago, also Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast group, etc. Also, same thing. If you're not able to participate, just watch the replay. Put me on blast, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm doing these live podcasts, you know, because I'm trying to get my message out to the general public. I refuse to be ignored. Um, I encourage Black content creators and African content creators who have a large following. Please allow me to come on your platform so that I can speak to your audience about my revised book and my film project. After all, this Christian business is for Black millennials and Generation Z. You know what I'm saying? But I need you all to help me build the thing. Help me build the. We're gonna build it from the mud. That's where we're getting this from. This is real Black grassroots over here. It's not my burden alone. This is a shared burden. Your CAM members will help fix our social problems within our community. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is all about. I don't want the brand and the vision to die in America. I am pushing this vision to the Black world. This is my contribution to Africa's rising because I want to be on the continent. When I come to the continent, I want to bring economic tangibles in the form of job creation for GERCAM members. Yes, you're going to have to join GERCAM. And I will work with you and your immediate family members for life, long as you're an active member. Um, so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this year we are determined to get this film project fully funded and made. So help me God. Just doing the best that I can. To get our story on the big screen in order to reach the Black world and let them know what we're trying to do for um, descendants of American slaves / freemen that are trapped in American ghettos, specifically in Black Chicago. Upcoming events, so I just shared that. Um, so please mark your calendars for Saturday, May 30th, because we're hosting our monthly virtual interactive conference. I would like to encourage 5 people from my Facebook um, um, page, also from my Facebook social groups, to come forth and be on the panel so that we can discuss our monthly theme, which is, quote, the murder of Fred Hampton and lessons learned from past Black grassroots organizations. You would need to watch the documentary first so that way you can discuss that on the show. So if interested, then please send me a message to my Facebook inbox along with your email address so that way I can email you specific instructions about being on the panel. Thanks. Now, if you are unable to participate on our monthly virtual interactive conference on YouTube Live, no worries. Like I say, please just watch the replay when you can. Leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section. And most of all, please share the link with all of your friends on Facebook and other social media sites that you're on. This will help get the ball rolling. Um, for example, let's say if you want to be on the panel but you don't know how to use StreamYard or Zoom, then make arrangements with me, and I'm willing to teach you how to use both of them. But we will be using StreamYard, so that way I can get more people, to be on the panel, as well as once we're finished, we're going to open up the show for Q&A for um, all of my listeners. Um, so this is my way for us to interact with each other. Again, I don't want to just be sitting up here running off at the mouth. I want us to interact with each other. And I want people that purchased the book, that have read the story and agree with the vision and plan, to get on camera and, encourage others to get involved. I don't want to be doing this another 34 years, ladies and gentlemen. And again, those that have rejected my vision and plan, once I start making money because they want to be slick, they want to still be on my friends list and all that stuff, and they think they're gonna get in my pockets. But you know, I show you better than I can tell you. But I'm here to do something that's gonna be productive for our brothers and sisters that's trapped in the low income black community. I want to help get our youth, off the streets and how to keep them out of gangs. That's how you stop the genocide in American ghettos. Through this type of business, working with those families from broken homes. We're gonna with those families, it's because it's up to the parents. Bottom line, because that's who we want to serve. We'll work with you. And I want to make sure that in my business, we're going to have armed security. We're going to have surveillance cameras, and we're going to have drones. We're going to have it all, the whole 9 yards. Because I'm not coming over there playing games. I'm from the inner city. I know how it is. But I want to make sure that CAM members will be safe. You know what I'm saying? So that way they can have a peace of mind when they step on our premises. Okay, so the title of this presentation: Chud the Builder arrested for attempted murder. The second topic: South African vigilantes tell African migrants to leave by June 30th, while Afrikaners are left alone. And the third topic: where do African presidents stand as it pertains to the AES alliance? Our first topic: Chud the Chud the Builder arrested for attempted murder. Chud the Builder is now facing attempted murder charges after he finally met his match. After weeks of instigating fights with Black Americans, the same man who tried to build a whole platform off of harassing Black people for clicks, views, and online attention, he ended up shooting a Black man after an altercation outside a courthouse in Tennessee, according to TMZ. Chud was injured during the incident. And get this, he did it to himself. To read the full article, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. Now let's get straight into this video clip. Now, I'm not going to actually show the videos. Like I say, I'm just going to, just read my presentation. Once I'm done, then I'm going to show those of you that don't know how to navigate on my Medium transcript. I'm going to show you how to do that step by step. So that way you can see you can watch the videos and all that stuff. But again, I'm not going to click on there because if I did, I only can do it once, and I can't show all the other videos that I have on there. And so I don't want to go through all that. But at least I'm going to teach you how to do it for yourself. So all right. So controversial streamer, his real name is Delton Etherly, known online as Chud the Builder, is accused of shooting a man outside the Montgomery County Courthouse. The sheriff office says both Etherly and another man were taken to the hospital for medical treatment after the shooting. Etherly appeared to keep live streaming for several minutes. In the video, Etherly can be heard saying, quote, man, just wish, man, I just pray that dude is going to uh, be all right. I tried to walk away from him, unquote. Court records show Etherly was scheduled for a civil debt appearance that morning in Montgomery County. In Etherly's stream, he claimed the incident started after a man laughed at him. Italy claimed he walked away from interacting with the man. The man followed him and a fight broke out. That's when Italy drew his weapon. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is pursuing charges against Etherly for criminal attempted murder, avagated, av- av- avagated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Etherly is also facing a separate criminal case in Nashville. He's accused of refusing to pay a $400 bill to Bob Steak and Chop House while screaming racial slurs. Etherly has over 226,000 followers on X, all due to his live stream where he's shown in places like Broadway and Clarksville insulting and calling black people racial slurs. Etherly posted, quote, I'm sharing mild jokes, unfiltered thoughts, and yes, sometimes I've used the N word in what I thought was edgy, harmless humor. I know it's controversial, but it's my right to speak freely, unquote. Etherly is booked into the Montgomery County Jail where he is being held and is held on a bond at $1.25 million. According to Chud, he says the confrontation started after two men approached him and things escalated physically before gunfire broke out. Now, I guess he forgot the pattern of behavior that we've all watched online as he fired him as he filmed himself antagonizing strangers while live streaming, calling black people racial slurs, aggressive confrontations, threats, mocking black people, and flashing firearms. Now, based on an unbiased account and my research of what happened, I believe he approached these people the same way he approached others, and antagonizing them, provoking them, trying to create a viral moment. The difference this time is these brothers weren't having it. When you continue to disrespect the brother and bother black people, you're going to run into someone who's going to push back. What makes the situation even crazier is just days before the shooting, Chud was already arrested in Nashville after allegedly refusing to pay a nearly $400 restaurant tab. And police said that situation turned into disorderly conduct and resisting arrest as staff asked him to leave. In addition to the attempted murder charge, Ethan Lee faces charges of employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Ethan Lee had previously been released on bond in two other cases. According to CNN, Ethan Lee started a fight with Fox, a black disabled veteran. Ethan Lee reached for a firearm in his jacket, after which a physical altercation happened. Fox subdued this terrorist. Ethan Lee fired his weapon, and Fox was struck multiple times and yet kept defending justice, freedom, and democracy. Fox has been severely impacted by his injustice. A disabled veteran, a disabled veteran, faithfully serving his country. against all enemies, foreign and this week domestic. I would like to send my appreciation to Josh Fox for standing up for humanity, decency, and civilized man against this white supremacist. He represents our hope and turning back the tides against these subhuman barbarians. He was running down the streets yelling the N word at black people. Life isn't working for him, and yet he's blaming back black people for his failures as an individual. Now, the same person who created all this doggone chaos suddenly wants sympathy because the chaos that he tried to do to everybody else finally came back to him. They call that karma. Many people know that this guy was going to try to ambush a black person. The media gave him a pass. The prosecutors in the area gave him a pass. Law enforcement gave him a pass. They all stayed silent and pretend they couldn't do anything about what this man was doing because, according to them, there was no physical crime. I'm pretty sure these laws on the books regarding stalking, harassing, inciting a riot, truth be told, they could have done something if they really wanted to. And again, this is that I would say a perfect example of these double standard laws. You know what I'm saying? If he was just, if he was, if he did this to a Jewish people or Asians or someone from the LGBT community, it would have been stopped immediately. But when it comes to black people, they turn a blind eye. He's been doing this to black people over the past few weeks. He didn't get arrested for nothing. When nothing, he went down doing and saying to us. And when he finally got arrested, he got arrested for not paying his restaurant bill. That's why he was so comfortable doing this to black people. He ended up getting a beat down. He shot the man in the stomach while still getting a beat down and grazed his own arm during the process when he shot the brother. I think they say it ricochet, on his arm or something like that. But anyway, he ended up shooting himself, and now he has an attempted murder charge. If you read some of his tweets, this seems premeditated. See, he's been saying what he's going to do on camera, talking about unaliving someone and calling black people chimps, letting him letting him do whatever he wants to do to black people. And now this is the outcome. Law enforcement would have never allowed this man to walk free or walk around free. Not one day if this was another group. See, this is why DAS FM have been pushing for an anti black hate crime bill, specifically for black Americans, like all the other groups who are placed in a protective class. Statistically, statistics shows that blacks experience hate crime more than any other group. But when it comes to the George Floyd bill, all of a sudden they couldn't pass it. Nothing is done for the most loyal base in the Democrat Party. The George Floyd bill and HR 40. Now, nothing to put a dent in the wealth gap that's been created during and after slavery with stolen land, convict leasing, redlining, racial profiling, and mass incarceration. That's why it's hard for me to feel sorry for some of these black politicians who will lose their seats in November. Because every 2 years, our black politicians only come around during an election year. They smile, they claim that they are fighting for our community before election day. These black politicians have the power to protect us, but they don't because they are in the pockets of the white supremacist financial elites. And now we are watching everything the civil rights generation fought and died for get stripped from us in real time. You have to understand something about what the civil rights era was about. As I mentioned in my revised book, the civil rights movement was not just marches and singing Negro spiritual songs. Those were our grandparents who sacrificed themselves, knowing that they could lose their life in order for us to have a better life here in the United States of America. They built legislations, pathways, and infrastructure so that we could have voting rights, fair housing, affirmative action protection, anti discrimination policies, equal access to education. These were not gifts, they were paid for with blood, sweat, and sacrifice. Descendants of American slaves slash freemen was under constant threat of lynching and church bombings. And now we are watching all of it being rolled back. The people who were supposed to guard it, black politicians who ran on preserving that legacy, who fundraised during the MLK Day events, sat in those seats and did nothing. Here is what I need you to understand about power. Power is not about having a seat at the table. Power is about what you do when you are sitting in that seat. And what did we watch them do? We watched them negotiate their influence away. They wa- we watched them play nice with a party that took their loyalty completely for granted. We watched them raise money off of our fears while doing the bare minimum to actually protect us. The Republicans did not hide what they were doing. They published their plans. They organized their strategy. They built their infrastructure over decades with the explicit goal of dismantling every civil rights era protection that exists. The Shelby County decision in 20, 2013 gutted the Voting Rights Act and they celebrated. They cheered and then they immediately went to work building the voter suppression apparatus that followed. They showed us who they were. The black politicians who were supposed to be standing guard called for unity. They called for bipartisanship. They called for patience while the Voting Rights Acts were being dismantled, while affirmative action was being overturned, while gerrymandering was being designed to dilute black political power. No crisis declared, no emergency, just fundraising emails and press release. Let me give you a specific example of how this should have went down. When the Shelby County decision came down and the Supreme Court gutted the preclearance provision of the Voting Rights Act, that was the moment. That was the moment where every black politician in America with a platform should have descended on Washington with one uni- unified message. We do not move. We do not compromise on anything else. What happens instead? Politically safe statements that express deep concerns. Our people's voting rights just got gutted. No real pressure, campaigns, no ultimatums, just concern. And then back to business as usual. The Republicans read that lack of response as a green light, and they should have, because that is exactly what went down. When you have power and you do not use it to protect your people in a moment of clear and present danger, you send a message to the opposing party that your power has no teeth or weight. I am not here just break down to break things down. I'm here to tell you what this actually means going forward. The rollbacks are real. We are watching the legal architects that protected Black Americans get demolished piece by piece. Black politicians failed to use their position to build firewalls when they had the chance. But here is what the anti Black racists did not suspect: the rise of the Black grassroots. They do not understand what happens when you push descendants of American slaves slash freedmen to the wall. They think this will be a return to the 1950s Jim Crow era. They think gutting our protections put them back in a position of total control. They think if they take enough away, we fold. What this moment is actually producing is a clarity that comfortable politics had been sedated for decades. When everything is on the line, you stop having the luxury of being confused about who is for you and who is against you. Black America is waking up to that clarity at a speed that nobody in Washington or either side is ready for. The, the grassroots community activist movement is on the scene. That's why I created this platform. We're an independent um, black media organization as well as a Christian organization. But this is, the media portion of it. We have economic mobility and capability. We have to we have a growing understanding of political delineation. That means we are not going to be pushed back into a coalition that does not serve our Pacific interests. Your CAM is organized around something that previous generations did not have at the time. Our interests are Pacific and they are non negotiable. We demand economic tangibles in the form of an anti black hate crime bill and lineage based cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves. No economic tangibles, then no vote, no loyalty, no problem. That is a different kind of power than than a march. That is the a different kind of power than worded statements. This is political leverage built on withholding. And withholding is only possible when you have the psychological and community infrastructure to sustain the pressure. We are building that infrastructure right now. Every rollback accelerates that. Every attack on affirmative actions remind Black college students that these institutions were never designed with them in mind and that we need to build our own. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm trying to encourage people to become GRCAM members so we can build GRCI of Chicago. Every voter so every voter suppression law passed remind Black voters that access to the ballot was always conditional and conditions can change. Every gerrymandering map remind us that pain in playing inside their system on their terms was never going to deliver permanent protection. When you think about what the civil rights generation sacrificed, they believed they were building something better for us. And then you look at where we are today. It is painful. These white supremacist financial elites never stop plotting and targeting us. Our grandparents marched across that bridge in Selma, organized churches in basements. They built the legal arguments that changed laws in this country. They knew the opposition did not disappear just because legislation passed. Over here, I break down the political game. We now have clarity. We have the tools, and we have something that the civil rights generation didn't have access to. We have the internet, and we can connect with each other in real time across every city, every state, and around the globe, organizing around interests and not allegiance. Black politicians who sat in those seats and did not protect us while Republicans plotted in plain sight, your season is over. Not because we are done with politics, because we are done with politicians who do not serve our interests. The days of delivering our vote, our time, and our loyalty to people who treat our protection as optional are done. And two, my global African family, we are in a survival era. This is real. No more confusion about who is for us and who is against us. No more loyalty without accountability. No more votes without tangible returns. The civil rights generation fought to get us in the room. This generation is going to make sure the room works for us, or we are going to build our own room. I mean, these people did very little for their base, who they always expect to come save them. Asians turn out the least. They have the least amount of voter participation, and yet they were able to get a anti-Asian hate crime bill. Notice they don't never shame them for sitting out or talk down to them. They don't do it to nobody else except us, and we're the most loyal, and that don't make sense. That's why I left that Democrat stuff alone. That's why many black grassroots are waking up and demanding economic tangibles for our vote, letting them suffer or crash and burn, because we've suffered for the past 60 years since the civil rights era. Notice how silent the Democrats are about this case with Chud the Builder. This is being allowed, and very little is being said about it, and shows that the Democrats are disloyal to us, but expect us to be loyal voters. Do you think that Chud should be charged? Should have been charged with a hate crime? Notice you don't see anything about a hate crime, and that's a lot of evidence. Because he's saying this stuff on video. Do you think he should be charged with a hate crime? The system was allowing him to do this. Even if you are not looking for a fight with them, they are looking and demanding a fight with us. People like him are violent white supremacists, and when they are engaging in this type of behavior, that is a terroristic threat. They are white supremacist terrorists, and they are looking for a target, and that is the behavior that indicates that they are attempting to identify a target when they're making terrorist threats. But you can already see from his behavior that he was already planning a violent confrontation with a black person. Just like all these January 6 people that Trump gave pardons to. Trump gave blanket pardons to them, and then a bunch of them went off and immediately committed violent crimes and sex offenses. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites that you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic: Black South African vigilantes tell African migrants to leave by June 30th, while Afrikaners are left alone. Today, we're discussing South Africa once again. There's a video that's trending on TikTok entitled, quote, Leader of the Luda gives all African immigrants in South Africa a serious warning, unquote. In the video, a representative of the Dula said, if you're an African migrant, you have up to June 30th to leave the country. Otherwise, they're not going to be responsible to what happens to you. To watch the video clip, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. Meanwhile, at the same time, I found a video showing an Afrikaner being praised as a true South African for leading a Zulu cultural dance. I also found another video of a Chinese man telling Black South African workers to leave if they don't want small wages. I just got some questions. maybe I can find a South African on my friends list or in my social groups to explain to me why they have so much smoke against African migrants, but nothing for the former colonizer or foreign migrants. A lot of, or I could say, foreign, I guess, internationals, foreign nationals. I mean, a lot of issues and problems South Africa won't resolve, like unemployment, crime, illegal immigration, corruption, corrupt politician. They want these things fixed, and I'm in agreement with them on that. I want to see Black South Africa successful. I want to see them get their homeland back from the white supremacist financial elites. I want them to own and control their country the way God intended for them. But at the same time, your displaced brother needs to to you on things, speak to you on things that your local media is not talking about. I can speak on issues in South Africa because this platform is open to the diaspora, not limited only to the United States of America. Another reason why I can speak on issues in South Africa is because once GERCAM members come forth and work with me in building GERCAI of Chicago, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago, then we are going to replicate the business in South Africa in order to reduce their 30% unemployment rate to break that down in half to at least 15%, God willing. But again, this is why I'm calling on African immigrants within the United States. Please come forth. All I'm asking you to do is read my story. If you're in agreement, then work with me directly. I don't have no middleman. You know what I'm saying? And help get my revised book on that bestsellers list. That's part one. And then part two is to get behind this film project. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to raise $250,000 to make in order to make a quality black empowerment film based on my experience. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure none of my members have to endure this type of foolishness. This is really I would just say it's a turnoff. But yes, I'm gonna vent. I'm not gonna hold my peace, and I'm gonna keep beating the drum loud as I can and broadcasting my vision and plan because I got something positive to offer Black Americans. But we got to get it popping in Chicago first, and once that happens, I can be released from Chicago. And I'm going to take the business over to the African continent. And I'm going to let my advisory board run the business without me being present. And, if it expands to other cities, cool. If not, that's fine with me as well, because I gave Black America 34 years of my life. I sacrificed trying to get this thing off the ground. But ain't nothing changing. Once I start making money and stuff like that, I ain't looking for people to like me. I'm standing on principles. We coming against this slave mentality head on. You know what I'm saying? Um, this is why I created this platform to broadcast my vision and plan across the United States of America and throughout the Black world to black people and African people who will listen. And again, this is going to be membership based. And those that's not going to be a part of us, that's less people for me to have to worry about. That's how it is for me. I've been paying out of pocket for my business title for the past 16 years, and still I don't have an advisory board or resource team. I feel like I'm just wasting money. You know what I'm saying? As a collective, we are failing our children, and even worse, we lack an anti-black hate crime bill because of our black politicians have sold us out. The white supremacist financial elites have rolled back our voting rights back to the 1950s. Black Americans as a collective have become Americanized and developed a narcissist attitude. They have taken on the colonizers' ways. My business will be membership based and we will separate ourselves from the enemy within. They are as follows: con artists, black boule, degenerates, Democrat shields, hardened criminals, pedophiles, off code Negroes, and urban terrorists. Once we obtain a physical building, then we will hold mandatory orientations to give the black community an opportunity to join us because, after all, this business is for black Americans who identify as descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. That's who this is for. And we're trying to work with our brothers and sisters that's trapped in the low income black community. I came from there. I know what it's like. Everyone must um, attend our mandatory orientations because I want the whole community to know who we are. Once we get that physical building, we ain't gonna be hiding in no bubble. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna raise, like I say, raising the bar. Everyone must sign that community pledge if they want to be a part of my business. Pass our criminal background check, and those who are 18 years old and above must submit their thumbprints to be placed in our database, so that way we'll know who's doing what within the business. Ain't no freeloaders. Everybody's going to have to do their part. We will have protocol in place to weed out those who would try to undermine us. There's consequences for con artists and those that would try to undermine us. I'm only responsible for GCAM members and their immediate family members. All I have is my revised book, my virtual store, my online groups, this platform. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group, Black Americans, before I cut and run to Africa. All we're trying to do is make a quality Black empowerment film. The proceeds from the film will help put me in a better position financially so that way I can hire Black people, African people, and others. And also so that way GCAM members can build the best Black Christian business within the United States of America, and that would be the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. Before I cut and run, I want to make sure that Sister Renee will be well taken care of, and that we dedicate a chapter for her in West Memphis, Arkansas, dedicated for her work, working with me from behind the scenes for the past 14 years. I appreciate that, sister. I wish I had more people like her working with me, but hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I'm gonna do. If you working with me, and I'm gonna reward you in the limelight. I'm just saying that's the kind of man I am. Those that act a fool with me, no problem. We will remain strangers for life. That's how I get down. I want to make sure that I will be able to sustain myself in Africa. I want to make sure that I don't come to Africa empty handed, but bring economic tangibles in the forms of job creation for Black South Africans who will become or who will be GCAM members, because this is membership based. That's just being real. Going back to the video, it appears to me that a de facto coup is starting to form in South Africa because the representative of the doula said, listen to him, like he is more powerful than President Ramaphosa. He is telling a man from the Congo that he has to leave South Africa by June 30th because he can't control what the crowd may do. They grabbed a young Ugandan man or brother, but Here's the thing. I saw a lot of comments about South Africans saying people need to stay out of their business. Then why did you record the video and upload it online? In the United States of America, we have immigration issues too, but you don't see American citizens running up on illegal immigrants and harassing them. During the Biden Harris administration, they dumped many illegal immigrants in our communities and neighborhoods. Black Americans went to the city council to complain. Let's check out the second TikTok video entitled, quote, White Boy Praised as a True South African for Leading a Zulu Cultural Dance, unquote. The video showed an Afrikaner being praised as a true South African for leading a Zulu cultural dance. Man, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. I'm not knocking all Zulus, but I'm just saying those specifically because it was that man, that young man's ancestors that put you all under apartheid. It's that man's ancestors why you having your economic problems because you're going through a economic apartheid. His people got 80% of the the wealth. That's not cool. And you only got 4%. And you looking at them as your brothers. Don't That's silly, man. That's straight up silly. That means you don't mind being a slave. You better fight for your land, man. I don't have a problem with the young white man on the video. He's not the issue. The problem I have, uh, you you want African immigrants out of the country, but you're not giving that same smoke with Afrikaners, and those are the people that's got your economy messed up. They couldn't They can wear your traditional garments and celebrate with you, but you're telling fellow African immigrants that they better leave by June 30th. A lot of them are just selling fruits and vegetables on the side of the road, and you calling them a threat. They're not no threat to your economy, man. So I don't understand how you could pull up on fellow Africans and threaten them, but you give this white man a pass. His descendants are the ones who put you and your people under apartheid. They stole the land and still occupy 80% of your land. And they still control the economic power, while black South Africans only own 4% of their own land. That's a shame. I remember what happened during the New Orleans Zulu parade. I remember how some black South Africans were pissed off about Das FM wearing Zulu attire during a parade, calling Das FM's slaves. It seems like a few black South Africans don't like other black people participating in their culture and don't want other African immigrants in their country. It seems like a few black South Africans prefer Afrikaners over other African people and black people. That's what it shows. South Africans, you are facing an economic apartheid. Black South Africa have to heal from the colonized mindset by becoming a GRCAM member. I would respect that brother if he went to Cape Town and told those white supremacist financial elites, look, we need y'all to pack your things and return to your homeland, the Netherlands or the UK, where your people came from because you're not indigenous to this land. Dutch descendants or British descendants, you have until June 30th to leave. The first video, black South Africans were saying that African migrants are taking their jobs, but they're not saying nothing about foreign nationals taking business away from black South Africans. I watched another video, a TikTok video entitled, quote, Chinese CEO tells South African workers to leave if they don't want small wages, unquote. To watch the full video, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. In the video, a Chinese man told South African told a black South African worker he needed cheap labor. In other words, the business owner is saying, I need cheap labor. If you don't want the job, then hit the road. Notice representatives of the doula are not pulling up on this Chinese man and telling him to close down his business because he's exploiting black South Africans for their labor. They're paying them pennies to do a job, but they got all the smoke for African migrants. That's why I'm calling this out because it's not only hypocrisy, it's cowardness. African migrants are not affecting your economy. If all the illegal African migrants was rounded up and I would say if they would um, deported them today, um, you will still have the same problems because the white supremacist financial elites still control the economic power and occupy 80% of the land. It's easy to pull up on African migrants. You need to pull up on white people in Cape Town. It's a lot of illegal white people in Cape Town. They get a 90-day visa and then they don't go back. Check out this Instagram video of a South African sister addressing the real issues in South Africa, entitled, quote, you know what's worse than the apartheid whites? It's the current whites, unquote. To watch the full video clip, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. So this sister, her point is, she was talking about how apartheid whites showed direct hatred toward black South Africans. They inflicted violence on them while stealing and hoarding the national, the natural resources such as gold and diamonds, sending it back to Europe. This is how the European nations obtained their wealth, ladies and gentlemen, while the average black South Africans remain poor. She re- she explained how they control the judicial and use politicians to silence radical voices like Julius Malema. She said current whites only fund blacks who push their agenda. They put money in the back pockets to get them to do the dirty work. And I believe that. I believe Operation Dadula is funded by the white supremacist financial elites in South Africa in order to cause a crisis among black South Africans. Just follow the money. You can't have a minority of people controlling the majority of the land. South Africa is still de facto apartheid. They're living under an economic apartheid. South Africa has the worst unemployment in the world. But look at all the other African countries. They don't have white people owning 80% of the land. The sister from the Instagram video was on point, telling y'all who the real problem is in South Africa. Shout out to that sister. The last TikTok video I post last week, entitled, quote, a demand for free healthcare turns racial, unquote. And so that video was about a white woman telling an African man to go back to his homeland while the black South African woman was in agreement with her. The reason why your country is unequal economically is due to her, or due to the former colonizers, which is her descendants. Her people is not indigenous to the land, nor the continent. God gave Africa to black to Black Africans, and we do not want to be Europeans. We're Africans, and we're going to return back to our own ways. Her people forced Black South Africans into apartheid, forced colonization on us. Therefore, Europeans and their descendants must pay reparations for colonization and apartheid, as well as land redistribution without compensation. And I stand on that. If we lose Africa, we lose everything. Black Americans and Africans must reject Stock, Stockholm syndrome. It is a psychological coping mechanism where a captive develops a strong emotional bond, sympathy, or affection toward their captives as a survival response to trauma. My message to the global African family, those of you who are serious about liberation, then become a Gurkham member by purchasing my ebook and reading my story. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America and Africa, then help me get my revised book on that bestsellers list and also support our film project. Encourage African immigrants in the United States from your homeland. Encourage them to work with me. I can't reach Black Americans. I've been reaching out to them for 34 years and I'm still on first base, and that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Um, and again, that's why I'm reaching out to African immigrants to help speed up this process. That's why I'm saying from 10 African nations. So we can speed up the process and get things done. Doggone it. Um, all right. So I do this because I care about Black people and African people, period. My question to representatives of the doula, why aren't you pulling up on criminals like the drug dealers and human traffickers? Why aren't you pulling up on white people in Cape Town? Just saying, just just asking questions. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Our third topic: where do African presidents stand as it pertains to the AES alliance? In this episode, we will discuss the alliance of Sahel states. In this, the beginning of a new era for Africa sovereignty, or our powerful interests working to undermine it. We explore the growing tensions surrounding Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger as they challenge traditional regional power structure and foreign influence in Africa. Why are some African leaders opposing AES? Who benefit from the instability in the Sahel? And what does this mean for the future of Pan Africanism, ECOS, um, ECOWAS, and African independence? Join us as we break down the politics, controversy, history, and global stakes behind one of the biggest geopolitical shifts happening in Africa today. So, Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, was invited to Nairobi, Kenya, by President William Ruto to discuss forming a business partnership. Ever ever since France was kicked out of the Sahel states, now he is welcomed with open arms back to Africa. Kenya rolled out the red carpet for Macron. On Instagram, I watched a video clip from Spearhead News When he landed, Kenyans had rolled out the red carpet, blocked the roads, and had live African dancers doing this event, the whole 9 yards. To watch the full video entitled, quote, Macron triggers Africa Africans against again with insults to Kenya. Ro- Roto called a sellout, unquote. Just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. I guarantee you, not um an African leader won't get the same type of treatment. My question is, should the Sahel AES alliance feel betrayed by Kenya? He's being called a true friend. What is wrong with Kenya? French France has been looting 14 African nations for centuries. He is planning on visiting Ethiopia. Um, in France, Emmanuel Macron is mocked by his own people, but in Africa, he does what colonizers do. They assume they are lord and master over black Africans by default. This was a full display during his latest visit in Kenya. Macron was in Africa to conduct nothing more than a humiliation ritual. First, he visited an elementary school where children were made to gaze at him like some kind of hero. But what many people do not know is that the same system makes it impossible for you to earn as much as he does on the same platform simply because of your geographic location. I'm just saying, in terms of stuff getting monetized, that's what that means. And also, the after rhythm, they it's a little biased. That's just how it is. It is what it is. Another incident in which the colonizer behaved as the colonizer occurred during an interactive forum between the French envoy and supposed African thought leaders. Macron stood up, interrupted the session, and scolded the African audience if as if he were talking to children. Macron, despite all his photo ops, still does not see Africans as anything beyond people he can boss around. Imagine an African leader on the tour of Europe grabbing the microphone in the middle of a session to hush the audience. Whether they claimed the audience was disorderly or rowdy, Macron had no right to stand up and do that on African soil. He's a visitor, nothing more. A major highway in Nairobi was completely shut down for Macron's convoy to pass through. Streets inside the capital were also closed. Macron did not visit Kenya for the progress of Africa. He's an ego, egotistical narcissist, and he's going to continue doing what he does. The Sahel has grown economically. Burkina Faso GDP, according to the World Bank, grew from 19 million to 27 million. They are about to have Air Sahel to pretty much all the flights in West Africa are going to be cheaper. It seems to me that many African leaders still want to be under the foot of Europe. In Gurkai of Africa, we will learn from our past mistakes and demand colonial reparation for colonization if Europeans want to continue doing business on the African continent, period. We see what we see happening in South Africa is telling us that we're losing our continent. We okay, so anyway, I do want to say this, yeah, we can't make like here in America, we can't make the American government give us reparations. That's true. And but what we can do is, I mean, shoot, like I say, um, I got to get the business popping here in America first, and then when I bring it over to the African continent, we want to do all those 9 yards. I'm not going to put all my business out there, but bottom line, for me, I'm going to reclaim my ancestral homeland, and that's Africa. I am a displaced African, so I don't want Native Africans to look at me as a foreigner. I mean, yes, I mean, it is what it is, but I don't want them to look at me as a foreigner. I want them to look at me and other CAM members as displaced Africans because we didn't volunteer to come to America. We were forced on those slave ships, our ancestors. And as far as I'm concerned, you do not remain in a country that enslaved your ancestors. That's me. But like I say, before I cut and run, we got to get it popping here in America first. And yes, we cannot make the government give us reparations, but what we can do, we can withhold that vote, and we don't have to. We just won't do business with them. That's how I feel. And we're going to bring that message over to the African continent. Those European nations that colonize each African nation. You know, figure out again who's responsible. Hold them accountable, and if they don't want to give us our reparation for colonization, no problem. Shoot, they just we're not doing business with them. It's just that simple, and we have to stand on that. African people have to stand on that. Um, we want our freedom and our sovereignty. Bill Gates Foundation is very active in Africa, whether it's East Africa or West Africa, as it pertains to health policies and everything regarding demographics. Macron is doing public relation tours in Africa because France right now is in a mess economically. Like I said, we don't need Europe. Europe needs us and our resources. But if they are going to mistreat us and be racist towards us, um, then we're gonna have to check them. But bottom line, we ain't being mistreated like our ancestors went through. Not at all. Um, so we as African needs to check these ungrateful foreign nationals head on. This will not be tolerated on African soil. For example, you have places in South Africa, quote, whites only towns such as Orania, Clevelandine, and I think it's pronounced Balmoral. So they got three towns. They want more than that. We gotta nip that mess in the butt. Well, hey, I'm not there yet. But anyway, when I come to South Africa, Gacam will become and be known as Global Kemet. And that means land of the blacks. Um, and that's on a spiritual level. And I just try to I try not to talk about that stuff too much. That's why I want people to read my story because I don't want to, make people, get, you know, confused and all that stuff. So I just try to keep everything, in layman terms, right? These white supremacist financial elites are talking about making Cape Town separate from South Africa. We as Africans have to check these people and make it clear if they don't want to be around black South Africans, then they can take their happy self back to their homeland, Europe, and give them 30-day notice. I'm just saying. My goodness. This is what Gurkai of Africa would do if I was there, but we have to get Cacao Chicago up and running first in America for credibility. You know what I'm saying? Then everybody gonna want to be a part of us once I start making money and I have my management team in place. We make a positive um, impact in the low income African American community, making positive films, putting money in our black youth's pockets so that they can feed their families. That's all I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? My goodness. It's so I'm not getting pushback from white America. I'm getting pushback from black America. That's the whole tripped out thing. My good Lord. But hey, it is what it is. You know? Uh let me go back to my presentation. So just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Um again, that's for credibility. So when I come to Africa, I don't want to have to explain who I am, who Emmanuel Barbie is. You're gonna know who I am based on my business, my revised book, and my film. It will speak volumes. History will teach us a great lesson that these Europeans have been our problem. Nigeria is not a French colony. Nigeria is a British colony. But yeah, France is trying to, you know, pick on them as well. You know, they just, oh man, let me just get through this. The problem we have as African people and black people is we don't have unity with other like minded African people and black people. And outsiders come around us to keep that division going because they take advantage of it. Um, Again, that's that divide and conquer stuff. The Europeans use East Africa against West Africa. For example, look how France imposed their central banking system on Africa in these 14 francophone countries. They use the French reserves to hold African money. And you know, the Africans they have to pay to get their money. It's just ridiculous. Those they just thugs. That's all they are. These and their entire destiny is in the hands of the French, and these people haven't had enough. They will continue to suck Africa dry. The only country is profiting from the Russian Ukraine war is France because the French are less involved. They're less reliant on fossil fuel. They rely on nuclear energy, and they are making money by supplying other European nations. Those uranium that he was getting cheap from the Sahel is running out, and he's actually trying to get back in. And that's what I'm saying. It's a shame. You know, you already know his track record, France's track record, but you still want to do business with the guy. So sorry to man, Kenya. Yeah, the youth. You know, I found articles saying that they protest. They don't want to do business with France, but it's the president. You know, these people they take us for granted, and it's sad. You know, it's all about their interests, and they care less about Africa's children and well-being. They want to make sure their families, and their people is, taken care of, and their economies. While Africans supposed to live in the s holes, like Trump was saying. Well, the only reason that is because you white supremacist financial elites is keep stealing the resources. So, but right now I'm here in America, so I can't do nothing, in Africa. But Africa, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Help get my book on that bestsellers list so I can be in a better position to hire people. Um, the white supremacist financial elites want all of Africa's minerals. This is why they are buying up land over in Africa. Macron and the French government have money from their francophone colonies. Yeah, because they've been, in Africa for centuries. They're just looking for a new era in Africa to start processing their products again to feed their AI economy. Gurkha Africa will offer AI technology to the continent. It's heartbreaking dealing with some African leaders, though, who only care about enriching themselves at the expense of selling out the majority of Africans. Just like many black politicians in America, many of them have a complex issue, suffer from Stockholm syndrome. That's a big problem among Africans and blacks. They There is no way that Macron should be back in Africa based on his track record. That's unacceptable. Africa have worked hard to get rid of imperialism and neocolonialism. There are still problems that is deep rooted. Africa is thinking Macron is going to bring development and investment to Africa's countries. That's a lie. The French have their candidates lined up waiting for the opportunity to come to power and become president and take West Africa back to the status quo. Um, AS AES has to deal with not only the French but also NATO and the EU countries. Western democracy is not going to save Africa because it's too corrupt. We have to create our own system that will benefit Africa before the Europeans arrive. On one hand, Kenya is proud of their revolutionary history when it comes to opposing white supremacy and colonization. For example, the Mau Mau uprising, or something as recent as the back-to-back Gen Z protests. At the same time, I saw videos of Kenyans who held memorial service for Charlie Kirk, a well-known white supremacist. Now, Kenyans are rolling out the red carpet for Macron. Kenya president is viewed by many Africans as a Western puppet. Democracy is the biggest scam that has been placed on Africans. It never has worked. We need to go back to our original ancestral systems before the Europeans arrived. Democracy is just a way of the imperialists to gain access to Africans' resource. Macron is developing a partnership with other African nations. Why? To sabotage the EA the the AES. This is not about France alone. This is about the entire European nations. The entire European countries do not want African countries to succeed because the European nations benefit off of Africa's resources. This On this platform, we are about waking up Black America and waking up Africa. The agenda is all about energy and obtaining resources. European goal is to continue taking Africa's resources to benefit their economy. Rakaia Africa's goal is to build a bridge with Black America, descendants of American slaves slash freemen, and also to educate Gurkha members in Africa. The AES is the roadmap for other African nations. The E, if the AES collapse, Africa is finished. If we lose Africa, we lose everything. Just keep that in mind. It's not just France we're dealing with, it's the European Union and the United States of America. The AES is the roadmap for other African nations. Why are Europeans flocking to Africa? Because they want to control Africa's resources. They are only interested in staying wealthy and passing down generational wealth to their descendants while our descendants remain poor. Not anymore. If Black people and African people are serious about fighting for our children's wealth and well being, then join GRCAM today, ladies and gentlemen, and let's fight for our black children and our African children. That's what the CAM is all about. You know what I'm saying? All those African leaders for the past 30 years have not created the infrastructure to help Africa develop. For these white supremacist financial elites, it's all about how they can extract wealth from Africa's countries at the lowest rate, how they can take as much raw material as possible. That's what the game is all about for them. They use their multinational corporations to steal Africa's wealth. In the United States of America, the black grassroots has created the delineation movement, delineation from these political parties and other groups, and put in our interests first. Nigeria, Nigerians and Ghanaians are giving support to France, which is weakening AES. The West needs Africa's minerals. Bottom line, the problem in West Africa is neighboring countries are siding with Western nations in exchange for mutual defense. This is the only thing I can see that sets the AES apart. They are able to come together for their mutual defense, but in the long run, Western nations are planning to attack AES. Who who you ally with is important. The white supremacist financial elites travel around the globe, conquering and colonizing other people. America became the most powerful country in the world because of slave labor, and trade made the dollar more valuable. The United States of America now is the most powerful nation on earth. Um, and now it has the power to impose sanctions on less powerful nations. South Africa is part of BRICS, which is the acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It's an intergovernmental organization and economic bloc formed by the initial group of major major emerging market nations. Um, so they want to do all, they want to merge in order to compete against the American dollar. It doesn't matter who you ally with. Africans needs to remember who colonized us, or who colonized them, and which European nation was directly involved, so that we can confront them and demand colonial reparation for colonization. Otherwise, they will continue coming back and conquering Africa again. Africa is a different ball game. These people who colonized and enslaved us will never give you a good partnership, because that would go against their interests. We have to watch out for people like Obama, black faces in high places. They are in the pockets of the white supremacist financial elites. Africa's thought they had a good partnership with the Europeans. Nobody knows the white supremacist financial elites better than descendants of American slaves slash freemen. We've been around them for 400 years. We what's determining your outcome is how you approach your allies. For example, look how the Chinese allied themselves with the Soviet Union. The Soviet helped the Chinese develop nuclear technology and ballistic missiles to build up their military. While most African leaders demand only training, they don't see themselves as a people that should be able to assert themselves. It doesn't matter who you align yourself with, it's about what you demand from them. African leaders have to demand more from their allies. You can't just ask them to give you training. You have to demand respect and check them if they are out of line. They are the ones who keep running to our continent. They do, that doesn't help your people. African leaders have to learn to start building our own things ourselves. That's why it is important for us to start networking and building Gurkha of Chicago and Gurkha of Africa as Gurkha members, ladies and gentlemen, for our future leaders. It doesn't matter who we ally ourselves with African leaders are going to have the same problem if we don't change our mindset. In Gurkha of Africa, Africans who become Gurkha members will heal from the colonized mindset. This will allow them to make better demands from their allies. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share it with your friends on all social media sites that you're on. This will help get the ball rolling. It's time for us to have real conversations like this. Please like and share because we talk about saving Black America as well as saving Africa. We have the power at the grassroots level, but we're allowing these so called Black leaders to paint us as victims instead of painting us as strong um, Black people and strong African people. We appreciate you taking the time to engage with real conversations, real issues, and real perspectives that matter to Black Americans and Africans. If you're serious about working with me, then please send me your email address so that way I can email you everything that I do online. And let's work together, help turn my ideas into a reality. Please read my story for yourself. That's all I'm asking. The Grassroots Community Activist Movement is a safe space for Black voices and African voices. Give our people local, national, and international voice, reporting on stories others ignore, holding power accountable, and making sure the truth about our communities is told by us. But independent Black media only survives when the community supports it. If you believe in journalism, community accountability, and keeping Black voices strong, then we need your support. Please purchase my ebook and read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan, make arrangements with me so you can come on this platform and we can talk about it. Thank you for listening to our audio podcast and for joining us on the stream. We greatly appreciate it. I need you all to help support our film project so that we can move Cam to the next level, and that is the big screen to let the whole Black world know who we are and who we're trying to fight for. That is descendants of American slaves slash freedmen who reside in the low income Black community. Quote, Hood Liberator made in Chicago, the war against Willie Lynch begins. You can be a you can be a part of this historic docudrama by contributing to our crowdfunding pages, which are our GoFundMe page, our PayPal page, or our PayPal Giving Fund page. Sorry, our Buy Me a Coffee page. We have three. Again, GoFundMe page, Buy Me a Coffee page, or our PayPal Giving Fund page. This will help fund marketing, promotion, clearance, legal, and general expenses. Thank you for listening to our YouTube live or the replay. If you're outside, if you reside on the African continent, then I recommend that you follow me on my Pod Chaser because it won't eat away at your bundles. It's only audio. I provide the link in the comment section below this audio podcast. If you are new to Help Stop the Genocide and American Ghettos podcast, welcome to our safe space where we discuss Black issues and African issues. We do this every week. This will conclude our audio podcast for today. Like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next episode. Now, before I completely end this, I want to show um, my listeners or people that's watching how to navigate, right? So bear with me. Okay, so let me go up at the top first. So here it is. Okay. So I'm encouraging all of you that's watching this right now, please hit follow so that way you can be following my Medium page. This is where I post all my speeches. Or you can go to Google and just type in Manuel right here where I have the cursor. Type in Manuel MANWELL online dot medium. Okay. Type in medium. That's MEDIUM.com. So, and that's going to pull up my medium page. So, and so here's this is the top of the page. So you want to go down all the way at the bottom. So I would suggest you hit Control and N at the same time, and then scroll up a little. All right. All righty. Because I want to point out a few things, and then after that, we're going to conclude our session. Like I say, I come with receipts. I'm not on here playing games. And the reason I do it this way is because this is my way of letting you know I'm trying to do something. I'm not going to just sit up here and fumble my thumbs. I'm not interested in writing any more books at all. I want to create Black empowerment, Black successful and effective businesses. That's what I want to do. So right here, this is about that the leader of the Luda. It's a TikTok video, so you click on that so you can watch it. Same thing about the white guy that was, dressed in Zulu attire. Click on that. The Chinese guy. Click on that. And what that sister said, about white, um, white apartheid whites and current whites. And then this is what I talked about last week, about that white lady. She was just acting a fool the most. That man wasn't even addressing that woman. She up here all up in his business. Such a turn off. So, and then this is about that guy that was harassing black people, TMZ, and then this is from CNN. So check that out. Um, then these are other, like other articles and stuff like that you can look at and all that good stuff. So I'm scrolling past that. So if you want to look at, I say look at all of it. Right here is you can find out, if you're on the continent, which European nation, colonized you. Click on that and it'll tell you. Uh this got something to do with us that's here in America. How, the US government is on the hook because all the founding forefathers owned slaves. That's what put America on the hook. You know what I'm saying? And these are the slave, they got reparations or they got compensated. Same either way, whatever word you want to use. But anyway, they were compensated, these slave owners here in America. And in the UK, 1837, that's when it started. Um, Reimbursing the slave owners, and I believe they finished paying that off back in 2015. But anyway, I'll tell you, you look that up. This is letting you know about the current debt, national debt. I believe it's 38 trillion. Sad, but hey, it is what it is. Again, all of my I would say black. Oh, hold on, let me just say that all of my sisters that's on my friends list on Facebook, please work with me. Use that same energy that these sisters use, during Kamala, campaign. And look, this was, within 3 hours, 44,000 black women. They helped raise $1.5 million. So if y'all can use that, bring that energy over here, because I want to raise funds for this film project so I can move it from behind the computer and make our presence known in the low income black community here in Chicago, West Side, and then eventually on the South Side. But I'm saying y'all raised the money for her, and all she was gonna do is keep them borders open. You know what I'm saying? Well, she was gonna practice benign and neglect. I'm glad that woman lost. And so here it is again. Black women, the 92%, you proud of being a Democrat and all that stuff. You see how these Democrats, they ain't giving us jack. If they ain't gonna give us tangibles, don't vote for them. Let them crash and burn, or let the illegals vote for them. So since they want to fight for them, and then I think it's up here. Let me see. Let me see. I know I have it on the other one. I don't think I posted it on this one. About that lady, she won reparations for illegal immigrants. And it was our ancestors that helped get her behind over here in America. It's just such a turn off. Very disrespectful people. Trying to see, do I have her stuff on here? But I know I have it on my other one, from last week. So I'm just looking to see. Hmm. All right, y'all. So that's how you navigate on here. Trying to see if I can find that one. Yeah, because this is a lot of material. Yeah, I don't think I got it on this one, but that's okay. Is what it is. Something else I think I want to show you all. Uh, Again, this is under my credibility. This is my revised book. You can get the ebook from here, or you can get the soft cover book. This is our GoFundMe page. But I don't want you to donate yet until you purchase the book and read my story. If you're in agreement, cool. Then you automatically become a CAM member. Those that disagree, my advice: delete me off your friends list. Go on about your business. I ain't got nothing to say to you because you ain't changing my mind, and that's real. Right here, our PayPal Giving Fund. I recommend you use this because you can use it as a tax write-off. If you're a U.S. citizen. So, or buy me a coffee. So that's another good one. I give people options. That's why I have three different ones. But you always can look on there to see about the donations if we have it or not. So far, no donations yet, and this is the fifth month. It is what it is. A lot of people online want to be playing games, but I'm serious about mine. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm documenting what I'm doing, trying to make it happen. You know? Um, and so here's my virtual store right here where I'm selling different items. Trying my best to get this thing off the ground. But again, God give us free will. And God is my witness. He knows I'm trying. You know. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube page, ladies and gentlemen. Very much appreciated. All right. And I hope you all would participate next Saturday. Send me your information if you want to be on the panel. I only want 5 people. That's all I'm asking for. At least 5. I don't think I'm asking for too much. Interact with me. Get on here and talk with me. But, look at that video first so that way we can keep stuff, focused. All right. Okay, that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. Thank you for watching and listening. Peace and blessings. And that's going to conclude our show for today.